Welcome to the Interviewing Preparation and Job Fair Skills presentation, presented by Job Service North Dakota. Our purpose in this presentation is to help you succeed in gaining employment by providing you tools and resources to help you navigate interviewing, job fairs, resumes, and employer follow-up. We hope these tools and resources will assist you in developing and achieving your future career goals. Job Service North Dakota has an equal opportunity statement stating that it cannot discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, or political affiliation or belief. This includes beneficiaries, applicants, and participants seeking or getting assistance from the Title I Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act (WIOA) program. Veterans and eligible spouses of veterans receive priority of service at Job Service North Dakota. This includes employment and training programs and activities funded by the U.S. Department of Labor, provided program eligibility is met. Resources are available for individuals with disabilities, including auxiliary aids and services upon request. Please notify your program provider if you have a disability and need services. When preparing for an interview, it is important to know who you will be interviewing with and how your skills match the job description and company needs. A few things we will discuss in this section include how to update your resume, researching the company you will be interviewing with, practicing positive self-talk and interview questions, enhancing your skill sets, improving your weaknesses, and positive body language and relaxation techniques. The resume is a key aspect in the interview process. It provides the employer knowledge of your skills and experience in the workforce. It can also provide the employer insight into what type of an employee you may be. In this section, we will discuss how to organize your resume content and different styles of resumes. A great resource that you may find at your local job service office is the Your Guide to Employment book. This book is a great tool and provides insight on a lot of the topics we will be covering. It can also be located electronically on jobsnd.com. You may enter into the search bar Your Guide to Employment or JSND 6062 to find an electronic copy. There are some things to consider before you build your resume. It should be legible and organized. Resumes should be between 1 and 2 pages in length and cover your last 10 years of employment experience, unless you are new to the working world or have recently graduated. Font and size matter. 3 good fonts to use are Arial, Calibri, and Times New Roman, because they are clear and easy to read. Make sure that your font size is 11 or 12. Fonts that are smaller or larger than this size may make your resume more difficult to read. Be sure that your contact information and name are clearly organized at the top of your resume. The resume can be the first impression you have on a future employer, so make sure it is a good first impression. When saving your resume, make sure that it is in a format that will upload easily to an employer's application. Usually the formats of Microsoft Word document and PDF are acceptable. Organizing the content of your resume can be done in a variety of ways. In this slide, you can see an example of a basic resume. Contact information is clearly readable at the top of the resume, including first and last name, address, phone number, and email. In this example resume, there is an objective statement. This is a brief statement at the top of the resume that describes what type of work you are seeking. This is a less common statement used today, as it does not focus on what skills you can bring to a new employer. You can also change this out with a summary of qualifications. This provides a statement of your skills and experience. An example may be 5 years of customer service experience, leading into a brief description of your highlighted skills or abilities. This statement should be between 3 to 5 sentences in length. It is at the top of your resume, so be sure and note any specific skills you possess that the employer may be looking for. If you have recently finished a degree and are looking for employment in your new career field, be sure to list your completed education near the top of your resume. Or, if you will be completing your degree soon, be sure to put when you will be graduating. Employment history can be listed after the objective or ability summary. Employment should be listed in chronological order, starting with your most recent employment near the top, down to the oldest at the bottom. Be sure to include your job title, name of employer, city and state worked, and the start and end dates of your employment. When typing out your summary of what you did at the job, try to keep it between 3 and 5 sentences. Always use an action word at the beginning of each sentence. Do not use first-person pronouns, including I or my. This is a professional document. Use factual statements as to what you did in the job. Make sure to highlight the skills and abilities that may be relevant to the position you are applying to. Here is a functional resume example. This resume is used to focus on your skills and abilities versus your employment history. You can see that the career profile highlights a summary of this person's skills and experience. The professional experience sections focus more on the specific roles and responsibilities and skills learned. The employment history is listed at the bottom. This format of a resume can be used if there are large gaps in your employment history or if you are returning to the workforce after a long period of no employment. Here is an example of a chronological resume. This is a similar resume as the one on the previous page, but it lists the professional skills with the employment history in a chronological format. This allows the employer to follow what specific skills you learned at each job you have worked and the years of experience you have performing these roles. Some key points to remember while creating your resume are: always list your most recent education first and the oldest at the bottom. If you have recently graduated from college, you no longer need to list your high school diploma on your resume. Be sure to include the degree earned, the school's name, city, state, and year you graduated. If you are currently enrolled in school, there is an example of how to show your current education near the middle of this slide. The example at the bottom can be used if you are no longer enrolled or attending school and you did not finish your degree. If the credits you have earned so far may help you in getting a new job, list that on your resume. For example, if you earned credits towards an LPN degree and you are currently applying to a CNA position, make sure you list that on your resume. There may be transferable skills from what you learned in school that could make you an asset in the job you are applying for. If you are changing your career focus or rewriting your resume, this section will address the difference between hard and soft skills. By changing the wording on your resume, you can enhance your employability and give more depth to what you are capable of doing. Hard skills are skills that can be measured. For example, on my resume, I may have listed that I answer phones. To put more hard skills into that statement, I may state on my resume, initiated communication with clientele over the phone, demonstrating attentive listening and strong customer service. As you can see, I broke down my one skill, answering phone calls, into components including initiating communication, customer service, and attentive listening. This gives the employer reviewing my resume a bigger picture of my skills and experience. On this slide, you can see some of the hard skill words that you may want to utilize when writing your job description. Here is an overview of action words that are related to hard skills. Always start your first sentence in your job description with an action word. These words can help describe your work experience on your resume. If you have a Your Guide to Employment book, you will find this list on pages 16 through 18. Soft skills are a great way to say why, as in, why I'm a great candidate. They allow you to present personal skills that are not directly related to your job role, but enhance your work as a person. Some examples of soft skills may be that you are personable, you have a positive attitude, and you work well with others. These are all great skills that employers may be looking for. Here are some action words that may help you describe your soft skills while writing your resume. If I was a waitress working at a restaurant, an example of this may be friendly, greet customers, and personable while waiting on tables, remembering guests' names, and developing rapport. The soft skills I focused on here were friendly and being personable. This shows the employer that the customers that come into their establishment matter and that I value them as customers. Sometimes finding the right action word can create a new light and freshen up a skill you may not think to place on your resume. Have you ever tried to use an expression on your resume to showcase a skill? Expressions can be used on a resume's summary or letter. For example, if I worked as a welder for 4 years, I may say that I have extensive experience as a welder performing MIG and TIG welds. Or, a proven track record in maintaining safety in a hazardous environment. Expressions are a great way to start your sentence while still capturing your abilities and skills in writing. Let's talk about cover letters. Have you ever been required to write a cover letter for an application? The cover letter is an introduction of yourself to the employer or human resource personnel that will be reviewing your resume. Make sure you write a specific cover letter for each job you apply to. Do not use the same cover letter for all job applications. Limit your cover letter to 1 page. Make sure to use proper sentence structure, correct spelling, and punctuation. Your resume and cover letter are different. A cover letter is a personable message to the company you are applying to, and a resume is a factual document of your skills and abilities. To the right is a sample cover letter. You can see her contact information is at the top. Below is the date the letter was written. Then the employer's contact information. If you have the name of the person reviewing your application, be sure to have it on the cover letter to make it more personable. The first paragraph indicates the reason for writing the cover letter, the specific position or type of work you are applying for, and how you learned about the opening. In the second paragraph, you want to list your qualifications. If you are a recent or soon-to-be graduate, explain how your academic background makes you a qualified candidate for the position. If you have some practical work experience, point out specific achievements or unique qualifications that evolved from this work. Do not copy the same information that is listed on your resume or ask the reader to refer to your resume for more information. Mention why you are excited for this position and the organization. Above all, indicate what you can do for the employer. The third paragraph is the closing statement. Indicate your desire for an opportunity to discuss your qualifications for the position or define an action for your inquiry. Indicate your interest in arranging an interview. State the best way you may be reached via phone or email. Remember to thank the reader for his or her consideration of your request. Remember, this is a letter, so write sincerely or respectfully, separate from the last paragraph and your signature at the bottom. Some additional information on cover letter writing. Do not list what you want for pay on your cover letter. If you get an interview or are offered the position, that is the opportunity to negotiate salary. If you are requested to list the salary in the cover letter, present it within a range. That way, there is still room for negotiation, and you can avoid being excluded from consideration. Before writing your resume or cover letter, remember to research the company. Here are some things to consider. What are the company's goals and visions? What is the industry and market like? How does the role you are applying for impact the growth and development of the company? Knowing more about who you are applying to can better prepare you for the role you may play in their organization. If given the opportunity to interview, you can ask specific questions about the organization to show you have an interest in the company and its future development. Researching and knowing the company you are applying for also shows job preparation skills. Now that we've gotten our resume developed and cover letter drafted, it's time to consider how to dress for success. Interviewing dress can be broken down into 3 categories: business casual, business, and formal. Some things to consider. What type of job are you applying for? Would you wear the outfit you chose on the first day of work? Do you look professional and ready to accept the position if it's offered to you? What you wear matters. An interview is the first opportunity for the company to see you in person. Your clothes should be neat and clean, fit well, and have no wrinkles. Dress like someone whose job you want to have, or maybe a future boss. Women can wear makeup, but make sure it is applied in a way that highlights you as a professional. Having heavy or very colorful makeup can be distracting. You want the employer to focus on your skills and abilities. Let's go over business casual attire. Tops for men and women should be in neutral tones and fitted, but not tight or revealing. An example for women is modest fitted tops or blouses. For men, collared button-ups or polos, but avoid the sports logos. Neutral colored slacks and skirts are preferable, usually in cotton, but never wear blue jeans. Skirts should be at knee length. Open-toe shoes are allowed, but you should avoid flip-flops and sneakers. Business attire for women could be a cardigan or jacket worn with a skirt or slacks. Colored shirts should not have loud prints. Solid muted tones or patterns are more becoming. Embellishments can be worn such as jewelry, a watch, or a scarf. Shoes should be closed-toed. Choose from comfortable flats, loafers, or pumps. Black or neutral brown shoes are preferable. Men's business attire would include a collared, button-up shirt with conservative patterns, checks, or stripes. Ties should have simple patterns, not flashy. Black dress pants and khakis are the best choices for pants. Shoes may be Oxfords, loafers, or other dressy shoes in brown or black tones. Formal attire for women could be a pencil skirt, dress pants, or a dress. Blouses and skirts should be in solid colors or muted patterns. Accessories may be worn, but make sure they're conservative and not distracting. Choose neutral-toned shoes and avoid open-toe styles. Heels are preferred in formal attire. Men's formal attire would include a pantsuit in dark tones and a white button-up shirt with a collar and tie. Dress shoes in black or brown are best. Oxfords are the most common. Now that you have your outfit ready, let's look at preparing for the interview. Being on time is very important. Be a few minutes early. That way, you're not in a rush to get there. Being on time shows that you are punctual and are going to show up for the job if you're hired. First impressions count. According to research, you have 7 seconds to make a good first impression. Make sure to have good eye contact, a firm handshake, and a positive attitude. When you sit down, be sure to sit up straight with your hands folded in your lap. For women, do not cross your legs. Rather, cross your ankles if you're wearing a dress or a skirt. It helps you look poised and confident in yourself. When you speak, use a firm tone of voice so you don't sound nervous. If you're going to give an answer, give it in a way that affirms that you have confidence in yourself. Do not say, Instead, give a short pause and then proceed with your answer. Taking a few seconds to formulate a good answer shows that you can critically think about what you are relaying to the employer. Put your phone down while you wait for the employer. Having a phone in your hand shows you're easily distracted, and you may appear flustered if the employer approaches you when you're not looking. If your phone is with you, make sure to put it on silent or turn it off. Do not wear strong perfume or cologne. Sometimes people can be allergic to smells, so it is important to be considerate of scent in your work environment. In this section, we will look at popular interview questions, how you can answer them, and things to avoid. You will probably be asked, why do you want to work here? When you answer this question, show your enthusiasm for the company and tie in the skills and talents you can bring to enhance the development of the company. Avoid stumbling through an answer or giving an answer that does not pertain to the position you are applying for. Remember to use this opportunity to show an interest in the company. A bad answer might be, "It's close to my child's daycare," or "It seemed like a good opportunity." Do you hear how the first only reflects on what you get out of the experience? Focus on selling yourself and your skills instead. The second, for example, makes it sound like you put no thought or consideration into your application. A stronger answer to this question may be, "I see it as a great opportunity to demonstrate the skills and abilities that I have learned from my 4 years of experience in the field." You could also tie in another sentence or two on how your skills would improve or align with the position you are seeking or with the company's mission. So, tell me about yourself. This is a fun question where employers can get a glimpse of who you are as a person and your personality. They may use this question to see if you fit into the company culture. Remember to provide a positive response and try to align your personality with the essential skills needed for the job. Don't bring personal baggage into the interview. They don't want to know every single detail about your personal life. Be concise when you answer. Providing an overloaded answer may hinder you from getting the job. A poor example of this may be, "Well, I struggled with keeping my last job because my significant other kept calling my workplace, but that won't happen if I get hired here. We're in counseling now, and we've been together for 4 years. We have an awesome dog named Murphy." Did you hear any red flags there? Again, don't bring your personal baggage into the interview. Here's a good example. "I'm a people person. I enjoy working with customers and coworkers on projects. In my current role, I provide customer service at the front desk and enjoy developing rapport with clientele." Do you see how this person tied her positive personality and skills into her answer? What are your strengths? Your strengths can be broken down into 5 focus areas: character, personal capability, focus on results, interpersonal skills, and leading change. You want to make sure your answer is authentic and not scripted. Provide an example of a strength you have demonstrated in the workplace that would highlight why you would be a good fit for the position you are seeking. Think about how your skills would improve the company you're applying for. Do not provide generic or unprepared answers. For example, well, I'm smart and a hard worker. That answer is too generic. It also does not demonstrate how you have grown your skills in the workplace. A more appropriate answer might be, one of my strengths is attention to detail. I have demonstrated this in the workplace by making sure paperwork is properly documented and processed correctly, having accuracy in data entry, and checking for errors. I also like to ask questions to make sure my work is done correctly. This answer shows what specific skills you have, how it applies to your work environment, and why it is important. What is your biggest weakness? There are 3 ways you can successfully answer this question. The first one is showing how you have overcome something. An example of this may be, one of my biggest weaknesses is that I struggle with getting burnt out. I have overcome this by managing my stress levels at work and making sure I take proper breaks. You can show steps on how you have improved your weakness. Talk about a previous job and how you handled criticism and what you did to improve yourself. Show that you are open to change and improvement. Provide a past weakness as an accomplishment. Another way you can answer the question is by addressing uncertainties on your background. This can be done by discussing past job experience or obstacles you have overcome. Show how you have overcome these obstacles to improve yourself. Be sure not to badmouth your previous employer in the process. You want to maintain professionalism. Be sure your response is relatable to the profession or job you are interviewing for. Bring up skills that you may use in the job that you are interviewing for. An example of this may be, one of my greatest weaknesses in the past is that I have jumped around a lot with my employment history. I have demonstrated reliability over the past 2 years with my last employer and stuck through working during our busiest production seasons, taking charge, demonstrating leadership and ownership in my work, but most importantly, demonstrating company loyalty. Do you see how this person did not focus on the negativity of the workplace, but rather pointed out the skills he accomplished during this time of employment? The last way to answer this question is painting a weakness as a strength. Make sure to use action words to show your weakness positively and be genuine with your answer. An example of this may be, with my last performance review, I was told that I lacked leadership in my bay. I turned this around and implemented weekly check-ins with crew members to address problems and improve work efficiency. The improved communication helped channel productivity and workflow. Some other ways of answering, what is your biggest weakness, may be utilizing your hard skills. You can do this by providing an example of a hard skill that you have become successful at using, or that you have learned and applied while in school or informal trainings. An example may be, previously, I have had difficulty using computer-based software. I have worked on overcoming this by taking online computer classes to learn the skills and become proficient in the programs required for my career. Soft skills can also be used, as discussed earlier in the resume section, to demonstrate your personality traits, communication style, and social skills. You may want to make a list of your soft skills. Think about ones that you have worked on over the years that you have developed or are still developing. This shows you are reflecting on your skills and how you can improve them. If you have recently finished a training opportunity, are currently attending school, or have finished school recently, you may want to answer, what is your biggest weakness? By addressing your academic skills. You can demonstrate what you have learned to overcome. Share struggles that you were able to work through to achieve success. Lastly, you can answer this question by providing examples of your work ethic. Do not use the phrase, I work hard. It's too generic and does not give the interviewer enough information on how you have demonstrated your work ethic. Here is an example. One of my previous biggest weaknesses is that I procrastinate. At work, I needed to get a report completed for my employer that I had to rush to finish by the deadline. I learned my lesson and have corrected this by setting aside time to complete projects the day before they are due. That way, I can check my work and not be rushed in the process. What is the most difficult problem you have had to solve? This question is focusing on your behaviors. The employer is looking for an answer where you have faced a problem and demonstrated critical thinking skills to solve or fix it. Be careful to avoid too simple of an answer, or no answer at all. What would you like to improve about yourself? In this question, you can address any skill gaps you have or would like to improve on. Be sure to avoid essential functions of the role you are applying to. You can also focus on what you have done to improve yourself as a professional. Demonstrating that you are teachable and willing to learn is also a great asset employers look for in an employee. What can you offer us that someone else cannot? There are 3 things to address when answering this question. Are you answering the question with confidence? Your body language and eye contact say a lot about you. Speak clearly without stammering or using filler words like or well. Demonstrate humility. A good example of this may be, I am capable, seeking to improve my skill set and learn new tasks. The third is preparedness. Did you check into what the company does before the interview? Do you know what the key roles are for the job for which you are applying? These answers can help you formulate your answer by pointing out a key skill set that might be a commodity to the employer that another candidate has overlooked. Now we've come to the job fair. Here we will discuss tips and resources on how to best prepare yourself for a job fair. How to get the most out of a job fair. Have your resume completed a few days in advance. Check for errors and make sure you have enough copies for all the employers you want to talk with, and a few extra, just in case you discover more employers that interest you. Do research on the companies that will be there. Sometimes companies are added to the job fair within hours of the event. Make sure you have the most recent list of employers. Try and research the employers ahead of time. Maybe formulate some specific questions. Know where you are going. Be a little early to the event. That way you can optimize your time with each employer. Sometimes at large job fairs there is a map. Make note of the employers you are most interested in and somewhat interested in. Visit the employers that are top priority first. Make sure you dress appropriately for the job you are interviewing for. Be organized. Having a portfolio to keep your resumes in can be helpful, so your resumes do not get wrinkled or damaged. Have a professional-looking notepad to write down contact information or names of people you talked with at each company so that you can follow up on your application. If you can, ask for the employee's business card that you spoke with so you can send a thank you note. Practicing your career pitch. A career pitch is a 30 to 60 second statement to introduce yourself. This statement will address 3 questions: who you are, what do you do, and what are you looking for. This will lay out to the employer who you are, your skill set, and your career goals. Make sure you have a few variations in mind, and do not read this off paper. This is something that you should have confidence in saying without reading it aloud. Make sure the statement is clear and understandable. Be enthusiastic and practice it ahead of time before the job fair. The thank you note is a symbol of your appreciation for the employer taking time to meet with you regarding a career opportunity. When you write the note, be sure to write it to the person that interviewed you or the person you spoke with at the job fair. If you spoke with multiple people, write the note to the department and then list the names of the interviewers. Mention when the interview took place and the position you applied for. Be appreciative of the time the employer took to meet with you. Continue to express your interest in the position and note key details that you discussed. Address a recap of your skilled qualifications. Express your interest in further communication and follow-up. This can be done by saying, "I look forward to hearing from you soon." Here is an example of a thank you letter. It reads, "Dear Mr. Flanton, thank you for the time you spent with me discussing the investment banking position this past Thursday. My interest in the position has grown after our in-depth conversation regarding the structure of the public finance team and the continued professional development that employees receive. I am confident that my education at Kelly Business School and my internship experiences with Holbrook & Company and Citigroup prepared me well for a full-time position with Wells Fargo. I look forward to hearing from you about the next steps in the interview process. Sincerely, Jack Berg. Did you see how it was addressed directly to the person that Jack interviewed with? Jack listed specifically where and when the interview took place, and the position he interviewed for. He expressed his continued interest in the company, as well as the specific experience he has that would make him a qualified candidate. Jack also expressed his further interest in his correspondence. Make sure you sign your note at the bottom with a closing statement. In this example, it was, "Sincerely, Jack Berg." Another appropriate closing could be, "Kind regards." Be sure your thank you note is in the mail within 24 to 48 hours from the date of the interview or job fair. Sending a personalized, handwritten note shows you are taking time to thank them. Make sure you use your best penmanship to ensure your note is readable. If you don't get the position, they may keep you in mind for another position down the road. Leaving a good impression can allow other doors to open later, so make a good one. Make sure the thank you is no more than 3 paragraphs in length. The thank you note is not your resume or cover letter. They already know your skills and abilities. You do not need to list them again. Today we have covered many important steps that are necessary for a successful job search. We talked about resumes, transferable skills, cover letters, job interviews, and how to make the most of a job fair. Feel free to contact the Fargo Workforce Center at 701-239-7300 if you would like more information or have further questions. Thank you for your time, and best of luck to you with your job search.